In a world full of giants, the show must always go on. But when does the show go too far?
Police now treating the discovery as a double murder-suicide.
This is not a wrestling angle. This is real life.
I'm your host, Max Garvey, and welcome to No More Gimmicks, detailing real-life tragedies in the history of professional wrestling. Today, we're diving into the insane and sometimes dangerous world of Paul Heyman's Extreme Championship Wrestling, the original ECW, which ran from 1994 to 2001. First known as Eastern Championship Wrestling under the ownership of Todd Gordon, Paul Heyman undertook the reins as booker and promoter and gave it a hardcore edge. Chances are, if you've ever witnessed any pro wrestling involving barbed wire or fire, it was probably feature footage of this promotion. Heyman was always looking for talent to push the boundaries with their bodies. Enter Jerome New Jack Young. A former bounty hunter turned professional wrestler, New Jack made a name for himself in Smoky Mountain Wrestling for being a loose cannon gangster gimmick from South Central Los Angeles. His gimmick was created and capitalized on the hysteria of the Rodney King beating. On November 23, 1996, ECW held a house show, or non-televised wrestling event, at the Wonderland Ballroom in Revere, Massachusetts. Wrestler Axel Rotten had no-showed the event as he was battling heavy drug addiction for most of his career. This left fellow ECW wrestler D. Von Dudley without a tag team partner to take on the Gangstas, a duo of Mustafa Saeed and New Jack. Enter 17-year-old Erickulas, a huge wrestling fan in more than a few ways. Though he only stood 5'9", Kulis weighed over 400 pounds and appeared much taller because of his size. Eric knew a few of the local independent wrestlers on the card that night and made it backstage somehow. Overhearing that they were in a tough spot, Kulis lied about his age to ECW promoter Paul Heyman by saying he was 21. Paul Heyman figured the kid knew what he was getting himself into. Fast forward to during the match. All seems well until New Jack begins to become frustrated with Eric's lack of in-ring skill and direction following. In the midst of a hardcore weapon display, New Jack brandished a 7-inch hunting blade from his jacket pocket. He starts blading Kulis' forehead. Blading is when one cuts themselves in a strategic fashion to produce bleeding. Yes, there is actually a proper way to make you or another person bleed in pro wrestling. In a burst of anger, New Jack cuts deeply and repeatedly into Kulis' forehead, causing blood to spurt viciously from the lacerations. Eric's father is heard screaming from the crowd, "Stop the match! He's just a kid! He's 17!" Erickulas was rushed to a nearby hospital and ultimately survived the attack. Assault charges were brought toward New Jack and ECW by the Kulis family. In a stunning result, New Jack and Paul Heyman were found not guilty of first-degree assault with a deadly weapon and negligence resulting in injury. The jury found itself unable to convict New Jack because Erickulas had lied about his age before the event began. Jerome New Jack Young is one of the most notorious modern performers in wrestling history. This incident doesn't even top the list of his most insane antics. He once used a stun gun on a wrestler during a match just so he could throw him off a scaffold. For Erickulas, it's a great lesson in never meet your heroes, be careful what you wish for, and, oh yeah, don't lie. Thank you for listening to No More Gimmicks. Once again, I'm your host, Max Garvey. For more information, email me at jmgarvey@mail.com. And remember, nothing in this life is truly fake.